I want to share something here. I'm going to post this and try to share this and show people what I find and what I think. 2011 Cadillac Escalade, the 6.2, and it had the lifter tick in her. 128,000 miles. The wife came home from a show thing at 10 o'clock at night, lifter tick, and oil's good and everything. And we take care of it. I mean, it's been nothing but trouble, but we take care of it. So what you get up here with is you got regular lifters, but this is that fuel management deal, and you get a collapsed lifter. Your other lifters are just regular lifters. But on the fuel management side, they're all controlled by this solenoid valley solenoid thing. Sits down in between the heads, right underneath the intake. These bolts right here, all the way through, these back here were tight, but all 6 of these, they weren't tight. I loosened them with my fingers. Even before I opened the hood and I checked them, and they were loose. There was no wrench required. You couldn't reach the rest of these, but as I pulled the intake plenum off, they were all loose. I mean, there was no torque left on them. And when you look at the bottom side of this is a solenoid. See, what they do is they run the oil pressure. They cut the oil pressure or feed it or whatever, and they do something with that so they can, the fuel management, and change from 8 to 4 cylinder. But if you look at this, look at all that's washed out. So they got oil pressure. They're running through there. Look at these. This right here is the one that collapsed on this cylinder, and this one right here is the one that actually collapsed. These here are okay. So if you look at those, in the back, this is where the bolts were tight. They weren't leaking. This has been leaking so much it's washed all this grime away. So I'm quite confident that the lifter's collapsing due to lack of oil pressure due to this plenum getting loose. So I went ahead, even this front one here, even though it didn't collapse, you can tell it's been leaking where the bolts were loose. So what you do is you go and you spend, I got $2,700 because I went and bought these things here at 80 bucks a piece, and the other ones were, I don't know, 50 bucks a piece or something. New head bolts. I got the new solenoid valve assembly here, you know, and I went with a Felpro complete gasket set that's underneath there. But what I'm getting at is, if you're on a budget and you want to fix the problem, I don't think you'd have to replace all these lifters. Sure, you'd want to replace the one that's failed, but I think if you kept the oil pressure of these things by keeping those bolts tight, you're going to win. So instead of spending $2,800 and a full day of tearing this stupid thing apart, all because these bolts came loose, replace the lifter that's actually failed, because it's probably not coming back and being reliable. I don't even think you need to replace this. I forgot to look on the invoice, see how much that was. I'm thinking at least $300, $400, I don't know. But replace the faulty lifter, tighten those bolts down, and you'd only have to pull one head off if you only had the one collapsed. One lifter, one head. Instead of $2,800, it would have been $75, and you know, you'd have $300-400. And I think this thing would have been fine. 128,000 miles. It looks, you know, pretty good. You're also going to run into busted the rear exhaust bolt back there. Both sides were broke, and I think that's a real common problem. I don't think that just tightening these bolts up here with it already collapsed is ever going to change anything. I don't think. I didn't try it. I think they're 22 foot-pounds, 24 foot-pounds. I think the heat and expansion with this type of rubber gasket is what's probably allowing it to work itself loose over time. I am going to probably increase that torque spec to try to keep them tight, maybe even some Loctite, I don't know. Certainly don't want to squish or damage this gasket and valve body, the solenoid pack. But maybe that's the cure to this thing. So, you know, short of replacing all of these. Maybe that would be a way to go if somebody's trying to get it done for a few hundred rather than a couple thousand. There are ways to delete this. I really didn't want to delete it. Like I said, we take care of the stupid thing. It's been nothing but trouble. And it's, you know, it's had a good life, but it's trouble. I suppose they all are. So I don't know. I hope that helps someone. I'm going to have about 8 hours into it. But this isn't the only thing I got going on. This is just something I got to get done. So, if you got other ideas, post them on there. Maybe it'll help somebody else. But it really isn't a bad job. You just got to have a few tools for a couple tight spots. Torque the old head bolts. Just you got to have a little common knowledge. You probably handle it.